do it quickly, please.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, ready?
Arms around Daddy, quickly.
Yeah. So, ready? 1, 2.
There's a lot of culture differences. I don't know that it's always necessarily cultural. I think between any two people, be it as husband and wife, or be it a mother and child, or a student and teacher, or just two friends, there's always going to be difference from their upbringing or also just from their perspectives. Obviously my dad's African American, but he was like raised here for a lot of his life. So my mom, she's all Persian, let's clean up the house when we're having guests over, make them big dinner, and we have to have 5 dishes of food. The best part about our family is, yeah, there's a lot of love. Everybody loves each other. I mean, we fight, like, me and my brothers fight.
She's sometimes nice to us, but when we be bad, then sometimes she has to punish us badly.
But in the end, we get over it. I mean, because we're family. That's what family is, right?
I think without a doubt, the most precious thing in our lives are our kids and our union with the intention to give them the strength and the foundation that they need
To succeed in the world.
I was born in Tehran, Iran.
We lived in a place called Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
My uncle was studying in Canada, and my grandparents were coming to visit him. And my parents said, well, go for a few months and learn some English and, you know, you'll come back. But unfortunately, the revolution was beginning to start up at that point. And so we ended up staying, my grandparents and I, and then my sister and my parents came about a year later. So, and then we never went back. I've never been to Iran since that time. I'd really like to go and visit, but I haven't had the blessing.
When I came back to this country, it was difficult. I was living with my father. My parents were divorced. I was not very close to him. I missed my mother, who was still in Africa. And all I knew is I wanted to leave Milwaukee because I'd come back to this place. And it was not a place I wanted to be completely honest. So I was struggling to try to find an education. And I would go to my high school guidance counselor and say, okay, I'm looking for a college, help me. And one day, after going there 3 or 4 times, there happened to be a recruiter from a school called St. Olaf there. And he said, you know what, I actually think we may have a place for you at our college.
I was blessed to be asked to go to serve at the Bahai World Center in northern Israel in the city of Haifa. And this was, again, an opportunity right out of high school. I'm losing track of time. Out of high school for me to go and do a year of service. And Russell was there at the time as well.
I turned to her and I said, Mom, you know, what should I do? She said, you should go to the World Center. That would be the opportunity for you to really understand what this faith is about. And she was right. You know, at the World Center, the standards of who you are as a human being are revealed to you higher, because you really get to see what this faith is as practiced by some of the people that really have tried to take it far.
I used to call him my big brother. I really enjoyed his company.
And I was working in the office there. And one of the other gentlemen working in that office with me, his name was Kamran Sadiqian. And he says, oh, I have a cousin coming and we're going to go meet her. And I said, okay, let's go meet her. And he said, let's go. We met and I saw her and I said, oh, she's so pretty, you know. And that was my first time ever seeing my future wife.
He actually left about 2 months before I left. And it's a funny story. He was headed to Russia.
But it was the day for me to leave and all my friends were there. And of course, this was a woman that I was very interested in, and I'm leaving and I'm looking, you know, where is Tarne? And she's not there. So that made me so sad.
I wasn't able to get a ride to go and meet him before he was going to the airport. And I was going to give him a Russian English dictionary as, you know, a gift so that when he goes there he can communicate a little bit, and that dictionary never made it into his hands. So it was New Year's Eve, 1999, going into 2000, and I was in Florida where he was staying, so I had come down for the Christmas break, and he had bought a beautiful opal necklace for me at the time.
We go back to a place in North Palm Beach where my friend was, and I take out, right on the stroke of midnight, a beautiful gold and opal necklace I purchased for my wife, and I said, okay, would you be my wife?
We were staying with some friends, and we ended up going for a walk around the marina, and he had a special spot, I guess, that he wanted us to sit at, and funny enough, someone came from the opposite direction and sat on the exact bench that he had planned for us to sit at. So I think that caught him a little off guard, but he still handled it well, and we found another place to sit at, and you know, we decided that this was our first time of consenting to each other, that we were going to get married.
I wanted something that represented the dynamics going on in our relationship. So if you look at the ring, there's a centerpiece which represents God, of course. And then there are two diamonds on the side. They're very beautiful. They represent us. And I remember, even when I was in Africa, the analogy in the Bahai faith is this. Two people, when they are looking at getting married, they're like uncut, rough diamonds. And then they interact, and over time they cut and make each other beautiful. And so this is what I wanted the ring to represent. Our covenant relationship would allow the two of us to go, and even though we had some friction, we would get through it.
He came back to Canada, I think March, if I'm not mistaken, and at that point he had the ring. And as soon as he landed in the airport and I picked him up in the car, he didn't have the patience to give me the ring. He's like, I have it, and he took it out and gave it to me right there on the spot.
Even prior to she and I getting married, Tarne would pray for me. And this may sound like voodoo or whatever it is, but there would be times when we had a relationship after we were coming back from Haifa where we were friends, and we would communicate with letters. This was before email and texting. Believe it or not, there was such a time, and I'd write her letters. And we'd talk on the phone every now and then. Bottom line, she prayed for me a lot then, and whenever I've had difficulties, we still pray for each other. So I don't think it's the situation that people go into this pure or good, but we work at it. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. I mean, challenges are part of life, and it's a matter of taking the time and the patience and the compassion to work through them.
The one thing that my wife could do or would do that would hurt me. Yeah, that's not the way she's designed, I'm sorry.
I really do feel that I want my home to be a place where I invite everybody and make them feel welcome. And Russell does tend to want more of his own private time. So there have been occasions where he's made someone feel uncomfortable in our home. And that makes me very, 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 very hurt, because I go out of my way to make them feel welcome. And he's working on that. I think he understands that that's not, good.
We do have disagreements, but I think that we try really hard to, okay, what is my wife really trying to tell me? Okay, listen. And then you share what you have to say, and those are long conversations. There's no doubt about it, but I think at the end of the day, we really are trying to do what the book says, seek first to understand, and then to be understood.
There's going to be times, I am not saying it's perfect and we always understand each other. There have been times where we have to talk about it, and it could be a long discussion. I don't think that we've, had any long-lasting issues that aren't resolved. They do come with taking time to hear each other.
When you're married to a human being, you're married to their character. really honestly, actually, literally. And my wife really has a beautiful character.
I think that Russell is a very gentle giant sometimes. You know, he's quite tall. I say tall, dark, and handsome when I'm describing him to just a stranger. But I think he's also very dedicated to his family and his children. And, you know, as a spouse, I feel that he wants to do the right thing. And to me, that's very attractive. We all make mistakes. You know, there's always going to be times when we wish we didn't do certain things and we want to be forgiven. But he is the kind of person that is willing to learn from the mistakes and is willing to consult.
There are big differences. In the American culture, time is very valuable. It's a really important thing. And so for me, I have an agenda, and I tend to try to stick with it. And if for example, for my wife, if a human being comes in to her, just even within her view of range of sight, she loves them.
A lot of times, you know, that is our focus, is that when times are tough, to remember, you know, that it's not just about him and I, but about our unity and about our purpose in this marriage, raising the kids, as well as being united as a couple and putting God first.
You have to have something away from the two of you, because each of you can have a perspective which is not accurate. I'm a human being. And so unfortunately, I'm going to get something wrong. My wife, though she's an angel, she's a human being. And so we often have perspectives that are not accurate. So we get up early in the morning. This is a very important part of our relationship. And we say our prayers together.
The world is one, that we are all flowers of one garden. And I really see that in raising our children. A lot of times when we're out in various different settings, people tell us that we're a beautiful family. And I see that really as the beauty, not only physically because of their diversity, but also in the way that they're being raised, and that they really do get some of the benefits of both cultures.
What I've just described as being good is not easy to do for a fellow like me.
That's one of the biggest blessings of our marriage, is that, you know, there's no immediate, you got to do this or I got to do that. You know, there's some underlying things. For example, he feels that he has to be the provider and, you know, make the money and that kind of thing. And I think that's understood, or I'm okay with that. But within the household, you know, I feel that our voices are both heard equally, and I don't feel that I'm being dominated over.
I would say that in the Persian culture, hospitality is a high art. The food is extraordinary. Relationships are sacred and paramount. And family, sacred and paramount. Also, there's this history that's associated with the Bahai faith of devotion, even in the face of the fiercest of persecution or adversities. I find that very attractive.
I have to giggle a little bit because I do like to eat, as Russell will tell you. When we were first getting to know each other, it was a fasting period, and I could eat a lot when it was time to break the Bahai fast. And he just gave me a funny look. But one of them is the diversity of food. He also used to say that he was looking forward to having a Persian wife because I would be able to cook Persian food. Unfortunately, I don't think he got too lucky there.
And when the two of us got married, we had a member of the National Spiritual Assembly, Jack McCants, come, and he said, look, what you're doing, everyone does, and it's a big deal. But let me tell you something. He's black, you're Persian. This is a really big deal. You're going to have to actually work at it and do it right because other people are looking.
The kids are hopefully the best blend of the two of us. Sometimes, you know, I do get stressed out and I do want things to be a certain way. If homework isn't done, I try to have them not go outside to play, and most of the time they listen. But usually my line is, if you don't listen to me, then Daddy's going to have to come into the picture.
My mom, she is helpful. She always helps us get our laundry and put it away and hang up our clothes and clean our rooms. She really, really loves me, and she helps me cook my food, like eggs and toast, and she helps me bake. And my dad's nice, but sometimes he can be mean because he doesn't always have the right temper.
That's a 3-hour conversation.
Let's say we don't have leisure time. If we're being really honest and truthful, our time revolves around our kids. When they come in, we're doing homework, we're doing guitar, we're doing coding. That's just the boys. With my daughter, she really is a very good soccer player. And so to play soccer, she's in the Olympic development program. To play at that level, we practice every day. So a huge part of my life force is spent with coming up with exercises that we practice and do. I used to be her coach for the whole team, and now I just work with her. This is...
Yeah.
But
But you
in
say we
terms
don't
of
have
us-
leisure. I think we try. It's just we don't make it as much as a priority. You know, we like to play board games at
There we go.
night with the kids and
And
watch movies, even though we don't always want to watch
family
the same.
movie night is a big deal. It's sacred. She and I will go to her favorite, which is sushi. We'll go to a restaurant and just look at each other, and there won't be children. And we can talk.
I mean, we have a lot of fun together. I mean, my brother already mentioned the boating trips, but when we have time, we try to go out and do fun things together. Because, I mean, a lot of the time I'm really busy with my soccer and my dad with his work, and my mom's taking care of the boys. But we still try to get together and have fun whenever we have time.
And we need to take a vacation. We absolutely have to find a way to just get away with these kids.
1, 2, jump!